One. And we're live. Good afternoon, LinkedIn. Hi, I'm Marion Spears-Carr, and this is the Healthcare Thought Leadership LinkedIn live show. Normally we're on Fridays, but this is a special show today because I wanted to introduce you to a webinar series and to a gentleman who's become a friend and a colleague. A webinar series that is called the BetterHealth webinar series with Dr. Martin Gershon. Dr. Gershon, you have an amazing background. And I would love for you to introduce yourself a little bit. And let's talk about this webinar series that it's already got a tremendous amount of buzz coming up. Dr. Gershon, welcome to Healthcare Thought Leadership.
Marion, thank you so much. I have so much respect for the things that you're doing. You know, healthcare is a chance for people to really connect with all the things that have happened over the past several years. It's made us aware that we're fragile and that we're connected. We're all human beings. We can all get sick. It is the great equalizer. I am a physician. I'm an oncologist. I'm a neuroscientist. First and foremost, my mandate, even though I wear other hats, is to drive new discoveries into the healthcare market, to make health systems better, to make people better, and also to drive health and wellness. And what I'm doing right now, and the reason that the health programs on LinkedIn Live called BetterHealth has been initiated, is that there's so many different real world problems that emerging companies are having. And they are finding that stakeholders are coming to the table, and corporations and universities and investors, to help them drive, accelerate growth, and commercialize products so that patients can get new drugs faster, cheaper, wearable sensors to allow them to evaluate their health and wellness and performance, change the system instead of hospital and office based to home based, and an ability to be incredibly efficient in terms of time with electronic healthcare medical records. Alongside that is a suite of incredible scientific discoveries that's almost like science fiction. It's magic what's happening. And I am privileged to be part of the McGill University system as their Chief Investment and Innovation Officer, their Director of Entrepreneurship and Corporate Partnership. That allows me to oversee a $400 million fund at McGill, which is dedicated to advancing healthcare. And I am privileged to be here today to tell you about some of those things.
Fantastic. And for those of you who are new to Healthcare Thought Leadership, my LinkedIn live show, I'm Marion Spears-Carr. I'm a lead in executive search practice that specializes in all these areas that Dr. Gershon's talking about. And he and I met via another friend of mine, a colleague in the world of the Recognized Expert program, Jenny Fernandez. And it was so good to connect with you. We started talking about StreamYard, and then I got excited about your show. And by the way, and I really mean this, I am a bit jealous because you've already set a new bar. You have a brand new show, a brand new event coming out, and you have over 850 people already accepted the invitations. Absolutely exciting opportunity to connect and with all of those. So thank you for sharing that. Let me ask you this question. Who needs to see this show? Because we have a very large audience. And by the way, if you're watching live today, please post in the comments. Let us know you're there. And and if you have any questions for Dr. Gershon, please put them in the chat and let me know. Well, who needs to see this show? Because you're covering a whole lot of different topics. And in a few minutes, I'd love for you to talk about the first show that you've got coming up. But tell me a little bit about who's your audience? Who needs to see this show?
That's such a great question. It's really on point. This is not a webinar that's kind of a newsletter, which nobody reads anymore. This is not about, kind of headline news. This is about connecting companies to solve problems, to drive solutions, so that you as a consumer will feel the impact. What is in this for you is the fact that these companies are going to change your life with their new products. So who should watch it? A number of different people. So I would take it from the entrepreneur CEO who's creating a new company and understand who is out there that wants to partner and what those partnerships look like. The people that are in the science labs, the people that are in faculty and universities can see what the possibilities are about taking their ideas and moving them forward into emerging companies, or to see companies that they have technology that they can offer up as assistance. C-suite people in major companies like Microsoft, Apple, Amazon, Google, Intel, NVIDIA, and Capgemini. And I will say Endeavor Life Sciences and Endeavor Funds are right there as a support mechanism, as a platform for all of this, as both an investor and as an advisor. Beyond that, there are a suite of number of important people from audiences. So we have companies from various sectors. Pharma will be represented, medtech will be represented, biotech will be represented, and all of the companies that support all of these industries will be represented. And then finally, there are students who are the new lifeblood of the future. They will be participating from Harvard, from McGill, from Stanford, from MIT, from Columbia, from NYU. We will have directors of departments in all these schools who are directing entrepreneurship programs. So it will be a spark and an excitement to see the possibilities to bring real life case studies about a company like Mike Graffeo's company, who is developing the 3D printed human tissue and eventually human heart, which is going to improve drug discovery. So I think that it's a broad sweep of people that addresses these issues. And finally, it is a whole new cohort, a whole new marketplace that's expanding in health and wellness. So people who are interested in wearable sensors like Fitbit will now see an exponential change in the way that big data is analyzed. And we've got companies lined up for the next 6 weeks already that are going to talk to the different points of disease management, treatment programs, and health and wellness.
It's fantastic, and I'm fascinated with in all those areas. Particularly, one of the areas that I've gotten to do some work in is in the idea of social determinants of health and finding at-risk populations using data, using AI. So we've had a couple of those companies actually on our show on the Healthcare Thought Leadership. So it's exciting to hear now that you've kind of created you're creating a community, a tribe, if you will, of like-minded individuals all around the world who can share information. And the learning is going to be, exponential in that perspective. Let me ask you this question. One of the things, because you work in Endeavor Funds and you work in a lot of startups, tell me a little bit about the challenges founders face in accessing this information. Before you started these ideas and created this program, talk a little bit about how founders of products and founders of service in the healthcare space and wellness space can gain from being a part of your show.
Such a great question. It's really a two-part question. It's
it is
access issues and how can entrepreneurs engage. So first question, access for me is a real problem because you want authenticity, you want verifiable information, and that is a main problem across the internet. When you have associations like Harvard or Harvard Business School, McGill centers of excellence under the Montreal University Hospital Center system, where there are multiple hospitals and multiple research facilities. When you have Stanford and Columbia and NYU, these are centers with great authenticity, and they have clearly made everything that they do first tier. So the information that comes out of these webinars is sponsored by the information inside these facilities, inside these institutions. So from a scientific and medical standpoint, first issue is credibility. The second issue is access in terms of how do you choose which webinar to go to. There's so much information, there's so many webinars. So that really is a little bit about why is the webinar there? What is the core focus of the webinar? The core focus of many webinars is just to excite you for the moment. So, the notion that there is a celebrity who has a new product is exciting for the moment. But frankly, what we're looking to do is build a continuation of ideas. So every week we will have an idea followed by a video, followed by the answer to every single question that every person puts in the comments. And we encourage people to put comments in and be an active participant in every webinar, because just as Marion was saying, we are developing a community, and that community requires good communication. So the access to this is really one issue. The second issue is the notion, what can entrepreneurs see in this? They can see in this the ability now to go to a webinar, have the potential to be put into a workshop that's driven by Capgemini and Endeavor, where we will sponsor for free a problem-solving session of approximately 10 hours, where we will take a look at what can make the company better using information that's aligned with innovation and technology, strategic partnering, and financial partnering. We will put together a plan for them at no charge just to move the process forward. And then second, the idea that entrepreneurs can see who's doing what will allow them, and I encourage them, to reach out to me personally on my LinkedIn platform and say, wow, we're doing this. Send me your pitch deck. Send me information about what you're doing. If I can't work directly with you, I'm pretty sure I can direct you in the right way.
What a great opportunity. And that was when you and I started talking about your webinar and your LinkedIn Live. That got me excited because that's my network. A lot of people that are in my network are founders or early stage developing. I've had several of them on the show. And the idea that they can connect and learn and from the best in the business, the best in the industries, and all of the network that you're bringing together. I love that idea around community. Someone just checked in and said, very cool. Looking forward to the BetterHealth webinars. If you're watching live, please post in the comments where you're watching. And if you have any questions while we're still on the air, please don't hesitate to post those questions and we'll get them answered either now or later. I do another question for you, Dr. Gershon, is let me ask you this question. When you started putting the idea together with your partners, with the people you mentioned, Capgemini, your organization, McGill, and others, what was like the number one thing that they wanted to gain from this experience? What are they looking to gain as partners? I imagine it's a lot. They're sharing their knowledge. There's a lot that they can provide, but I'm really interested in what their drivers were and motivations are. I know we didn't talk about that. It's probably a question a little bit off the radar, but I love the idea around what drives and what motivates organizations to get involved.
Such a great question. So, first and foremost, the universities are institutions of higher learning, and they want to promote higher learning. At McGill, for example, they have a direct connection with the government. The government is dedicated to producing great research. And we take that research and we make it viable for a commercial track. So the universities want to see more and more entrepreneurs come to them with greater and greater ideas. My job is to be able to filter all that, coach these people, and drive success stories. And success stories is not about just chalking up the numbers in terms of the number of companies that come out of a university program. Success is about real world impact on people, which means commercializing products and then following suit and seeing how well those products impact outcomes. So universities and medical centers are looking at changing outcomes. I'll give you a case study. A company called Cosmo. It's a relatively new company and no one's ever heard of. You will. They have an incredible new technology, which is artificial intelligence embedded into a colonoscopy device.
Wow.
Now, traditional colonoscopy devices, uncomfortable to talk about and uncomfortable to experience, are life-saving.
Yes.
If you can detect cancers or precancerous lesions, this is life-saving. The current rate is somewhere between 75 and 78% accuracy, even with the best physicians. With Cosmo, it's 93%.
Wow.
Now, what does that mean? It means that the physician uses technology so they don't actually have to visualize the lesion. The AI will direct them to the lesion, and the lesion can be so small that it's not visible. When viewed under a pathologic slide, it confirms that the AI algorithm was correct. Now, what does that mean for emerging companies and CEOs? It means that they should form partnerships with organizations like Medtronic early in their development. What has happened is that they now have an exclusive arrangement with Medtronic, so every one of their products is being put out in mass across the United States. And I'm sure within the next several months, you will hear public announcements which are going to really spin your head around, because this is a product that's going to change healthcare outcomes. So that's one specific case which intersects with your other question: who should watch, what's in it for them, what's in it for the companies, what's in it for the universities. We would like at McGill to be a top 10 accelerator in the next 7 years to drive companies like this forward. And we're calling out to people: tell us what your real world health problems are. And you can do that right now. You can let us know, what are your real world health problems? What have some of your family or friends had problems with? Whether it's access, whether it's treatment, whether it's incorrect diagnosis, let us know. Second, it's a call out to CEO entrepreneurs. We are here for you in a time where economic problems really are front and center of every headline in every newspaper. We are here to help you. We have financing resources, we have strategic resources, and we are here to support you through these economic times. And finally, we're here for leadership building. We're here to make you a better CEO, which means you're a better team leader, which means you can, pay it forward as you become a better person. And that impact is going to be established through a leadership center at McGill, where we have 17 dedicated video rooms, where you will be pitching in front of very tough seasoned venture capital investors. You will be honing your skills about telling your story, which needs to have impact, needs to have authenticity, and needs to come from the heart. And we have a full design team, which will allow you to take that information and create a design product for the purpose of bringing to investors to get you money to move your projects forward. So those are some of the things to look forward to on a tactical level within the universities and within the confines of workshops that are hosted by strategic partners. There are other programs out of Microsoft and out of Amazon, for example, that are dedicated emerging company programs where they will give grants and they will give support in kind. So my shout out to everybody is, contact me through LinkedIn. Let me tell you about some of these programs. Tune into the webinars, which are going to be weekly. The first one is going to be on Monday at 12 Eastern time. It is the BetterHealth series. I'm excited to tell you about some of the things that you can get involved with.
Fantastic. And in our last couple of minutes, we do have one. We will put in the comments the link to the BetterHealth webinar series for you for Monday. And in the on the screen is Dr. Gershon's LinkedIn. Please reach out and connect with him. If you're not connected to me, please connect to me. Hope you can watch my show called Healthcare Thought Leadership. That's usually on Fridays and every Friday. And I'm looking forward to having Dr. Gershon back on my show and supporting what he's doing with the webinar series. Tell us a little bit about the first show. Give us a little, just a taste of who your guests are and who's going to be on the webinar on Monday. You have some amazing guests. I was looking at it this morning, but could you tell us a little bit about that, and then we'll wrap up our discussion?
I'm super excited about the kickoff. So first, we have the Global Head of Healthcare and Medical Technology, Broderick Jones from Capgemini. He has an incredible view of the world of healthcare. He has an incredible view of AI and integration into medical devices. He is partnered with a friend and colleague, Mike Raffeo, who is the co-president of the Harvard Business School Healthcare Association, one of the thought leaders across the United States that really drives healthcare investment, knowledge, and moves the needle in healthcare. He runs an incredible company called Fluidform. This company is printing human tissue out of a 3D printer. It is printing tissue that is cardiac tissue. Now, why is this important? Why does this mean something to the individual? Cardiac disease is one of the top killers in the United States. In order for us to improve that, we need to improve the drugs that we give to patients. Currently, the cost of drugs is $2.5 billion, and it takes 12 and a half years to get a drug to market. The failure rate is astronomical.
Wow.
Upwards of 90% of the drugs that are in drug targeting early stage programs fail. With the testing on human tissue, we avoid one important aspect, which has both a real world business aspect and an ethical aspect. We avoid animal testing. Animals do not have the same tissues as human beings. And so the predictive quality of testing drugs on animals is nowhere near the predictive quality of testing human tissue with drugs. Eventually, what this means is that we will actually be able to develop transplantable organs. And one of the early developments has come out of Boston, where there is a miniature heart that has been 3D printed, which is fully functional and fully capable.
Wow.
Well, those are two people that will talk about what Mike is doing, what the big picture of healthcare looks in terms of AI, innovation, technology, and what does it mean for you as a viewer? It means that you can expect over the next year that you will be receiving care at home, not in the office or in the hospital, with incredible new diagnostics that are powered by AI. It means that you will have wearable sensors in every aspect to be able to monitor your heart rate, your respiratory rate, your blood pressure. It will allow you then to look at performance if you are engaged in athletics in any way. It will allow you to measure these and chart your performance so that when you go to a doctor, all of that information will be digital, real time, and you will have things at your disposal that really will change your life. You will go to the doctor, he will not take notes. Those information driven comments will be put on electronic healthcare records automatically, integrated into a pharmacy system. And when you walk back home, you will have the new medication sitting at your doorstep.
Fantastic. What great advances you and your colleagues and everyone in the global health industry are making to make lives better for everyone. So thank you for being on the show. I look forward to being in the audience on Monday for the first BetterHealth webinar series. It's from 12, for those of you who are watching, it's from 12 to 12:45 Eastern time. Find it on LinkedIn. We'll post the link to it in the comments. If you don't know who I am or haven't connected with me, please connect with me on LinkedIn. Connect with Dr. Gershon. And thank you for being on Healthcare Thought Leadership. Glad to be here to support you. And I've enjoyed our connection. So thank you for being on the show.
And I just want to say, I'm extremely appreciative to be here. I will, again, shout out to your audience to contact Marion through the comments. That will be forwarded on to me. It's about listening to you. What do you see in your life that is a problem that we as an ecosystem of stakeholders can help address? And I firmly believe that we will follow your voice. So please contact us.
Absolutely. Thank you for your time. And we're going to go off the air now. Hello to everyone all around the world that watches the show. Thank you for being a part of today's discussion.